Alrighty, welcome back, boys and girls. It's your main math man, Mr. Shank, coming to you live from Summit Academy. And in this video, we're starting a new unit on Unit 4 now, lesson number 1. And what I want you to do first is I want you to think, pair, share. So I want you to work with your partner. I want you to write down what you notice about this number line and what you wonder about this number line. So just kind of write, say, write two things you notice / wonder about this number line. All right, so make sure you can pause, try that out for yourself. On the next part, it says solve each puzzle and show your thinking. So it says for number 1, the temperature was very cold, probably in the negative degrees. Then it says if double the temperature, then the temperature dropped by 10 degrees, then the temperature increased by 40 degrees. The temperature is now 16 degrees. What was the starting temperature? So a way you can write this out is like this. You can write an equation. So let's say write an equation. Let's try writing equations. So let's say you have we end with 16 degrees. We started with the number x, we don't know what it is, but we said we doubled it, so we'd have 2 times x, then we subtracted 10 from it, and then we added 40 to it to get 16. So if you're trying to solve for that temperature, you can do it like this. You could say, well, if I have 2x plus 30 equals 16, subtract 30 from both sides. So you have 2x equals negative 14. Divide both sides by 2. And you should end up with x equals negative 7. So again, you want to try setting up an equation. It should follow along with the word problem or statement first, and then you can work backwards to be able to solve it. For number 2, it says Lynn ran twice as far as Diego. Diego ran 300 meters farther than Jada, and Jada ran 1/3 the distance that Noah ran. Then it says Noah ran 1,200 meters. How far did Lynn run? So like I said, we're going to kind of do it inverse with this one. So we're saying, let's do purple this time. Let's say if we have 1/2. So let me write this out. Give me 1 second. All right, so we have 1/2 times x minus 300 times, let's say 3 times 3. We're going to say that's going to be equal to 1,200. So let's kind of recap what we had here. So it has, if this is the amount that Noah ran, we're saying we got that by doing 3 times, because it said Jada ran 1/3, and then we said that Diego ran 300 meters farther, so we had to subtract 300, and it says twice as far, so we had to use 1/2. So something like this we could do. We could divide both sides by 3. So now we're going to say we have 1/2 x minus 300 equals 400. Add 300 both sides. I'm trying to use those inverse operations to get x by itself. This is 1/2 x equals 700. And so then we can say if we multiply both sides by 2, we should get our answer. So we should say x equals 1400. Alrighty. So now another way to look at those pictures, if you wanted to look at for that number 1, another way to kind of look at it is if you said he started at -7 degrees, we dropped by 10, or sorry, doubled it first, so we went to -14, and then we dropped by 10, and then we added 40, so that's kind of like a picture for that one, and then a picture for the second one is notice how Noah's distance was 1200, Jada's distance was 400, Diego's distance was Jada's distance plus 300, and Lynn's distance was 1400. So this is another way to picture it. For the next part, it says, are you ready for more? Here's a puzzle that uses math. So I want you to pause for your turn. So I want you to write down a number, pick a number, double that number, add 9, subtract 3, and divide by 2. Then subtract the number that you started with, so whatever that number was, subtract it again, and it should give you an answer. So pause and try it out. All right, for this one it says Tyler reads 2/15 or 2/15 of a book on Monday, 1/3 of it on Tuesday, 2/9 of it on Wednesday, and 3/4 of the remainder on Thursday. If he still has 14 pages left to read on Friday, how many pages are in the entire book? All right, so for this one, I'm going to say if there's 180 pages, I'll show you how this works. So we're going to say, start with 2/15 times 180 gives us 24. And the next day was 1/3 times 180 is 60. Then we had 2/9 times 180 is equal to 40. So now we said that these 3 add together is 124. So then it says on Thursday, it was 1/3 of the remainder. So if we do 180 minus 124, that's 56. So then we take 3/4 times 56 to get the amount we read. So that would be 42. And then on Friday, we had 14 pages. So that'd be Friday is 14. If we add all 3 of these, or sorry, all 5 of these together, it's going to be 180 pages. So you have to try playing around with some of those numbers to get your answer. For the second one, on the practice, it says Claire asked Andre to play the following number puzzle. Pick a number, add 2, multiply by 3, subtract 7, and add your original number. It says Andre's final result is 27. What number did he start with? And so what it can do is it can similar setup, set up your equation. So I'm going to say this is 3x plus 2, sorry, 3 times x plus 2 minus 7 plus x. So we said pick a number, x, add 2 to it, multiply by 3, subtract 7, and add your number. You should end up with 27. So we just need to solve it. So we're going to say this is 3x plus 2 minus 7 plus x equals 27. Combine like terms, we have 4x minus 5. Or sorry, this is messed up here. Should be 6. There we go. Forgot to multiply. So this is minus 1 equals 27. So we should have x equals positive 7. On the back, it has in a basketball game, Elena scores twice as many points as Tyler. Tyler scores 4 points fewer than Noah, and Noah scores 3 times as many as Mai. If Mai scores 5 points, how many points did Elena score? So we could say, it's kind of like we're working in reverse now, so it gives us Mai's score, then it says if Noah scored 3 times as many as Mai, so Noah is 3 times 5, which is 15 points. Then Tyler scored 4 points fewer than Noah, so we do 15 minus 4 equals 11 points. And then the original Elena scored twice as many, so Elena is going to be 11 times 2, which is 22 points. So again, just be able to work in reverse to get your answers. For number 4, this is kind of like a recap from before. Make sure you have that Desmos calculator nice and ready. So let me clear out this and put it here. There we go. So now it says select all of the given points in the coordinate plane that are on the graph of the linear equation. So it says to graph your equation first. So I have 4x minus y equals 3. So you're going to graph out your equation, and what you can do is you can type in those values, and any points that are on that line are answers. So I'm going to say I have -1, -7. That's on the line. I have, let me label that. I have 0, 3. I have 3/4, 0. I have 1, 1. 2, 5. And 4, -1. So notice how you're able to kind of see which points are on the line and which points are not on the line. So I have to be able to make sure that I pick those carefully. So I'm going to say for this one I have -1, -7 is on it, 0, 3 is not. This is 3/4, 0. 1, 1 is on the line. 2, 5 is on the line. However, 4, -1 is not. So like this, I'm going to say, so go ahead and graph those out, type in ordered pairs, just like I showed you. So we're going to say if -1, -7, 3/4, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 5 are all on the line. So again, if it's not on the line, it is not a solution. And for the last one, it says a store is designing a space of rows for nesting shopping carts. Each row has a starting cart that is 4 feet long, followed by the nested carts. So that means 0 nested cart is just the starting cart. The store measured a row of 13 nested carts to be 23.5 feet long, and a row of 18 was 31 feet long. So what you can do, it says create a graph of solution. So what I would do is this. Again, use the graph that's given. Notice how on your y-axis it has the length of the row in feet, and on the x-axis it's the number of nested carts. And so what you can do is you can find slope, which is going to be this part B. We're going to say find slope, again change in y over change in x. And so what I can do is I can find those values. So I'm going to say in my y values I have 31 minus 23.5 divided by my change in x, which is going to be 18 minus 13. So let me actually calculate that for you. So it's going to be equal to, let's say, 7.5 over 5, and that should be equal to, our slope should be equal to 1.5. And so that's going to be this part here. It's going to be 1.5. That's saying for each nested cart, what's going to be, how much does that add the length to the row? Then it says I need to be able to graph it like this. So I'm going to say if it has 4 and 0, I need to be able to plot that as that's going to be my y-intercept. So start at 0, 4, and it's like I'm going 2 spaces right, 3 spaces up. Plot each of those points for yourself, so that way you can have your graph. Again, build that staircase, draw the line through those points. Like so. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. And then the last part, it says if the store allows 43 feet for each row, how many total carts would fit? I'm going to say for this one, it's going to be 26 nested carts. So you can kind of follow along that graph if you wanted to. You can plug in those values. So if you wanted to come up with the equation, it'd be y equals 1.5x plus 4. So you should be able to plug in and solve for that as well. Again, make sure you're pausing and rewinding as needed, and be sure to super slam that subscribe button.